Hi YouTube, just me. I'm going to do a video. I've been pondering. There's been a couple of subjects. There was a lovely lady that contacted me on YouTube and asked me to look at her son, and then I couldn't find the comment. So if you, with that lovely lady that I can't remember her name, who asked me to look at your son and do a video on a medical condition, then get in contact with me again. Just put something on this video on the comments, and I'll save it and I'll do a video on it. I said I would, and it's just I couldn't find you. And okay, so I had a few weeks back. Someone passed away. I didn't know them, but they passed away, and I looked. Family member contacted me, and I looked at their passing. They had the medication, and they had that, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, or very soon after, they passed from it. Heart problems. So anyway, I went and had a look and see that they were all right on the other side, kind of thing. When we die, say our physical body leaves, but the who we are doesn't die. It never does. We live forever. And what this does when we pass over, we go back up to the soul, and we go back to the soul and review our lives. Our soul is this beautiful egg-shaped it's us, consciousness, and in that consciousness is all the lives that we've ever lived, and the experiences and the wealth of information and understanding of ourselves that we have gained through the physical experiences that we have lived. And anyway, in all the deaths I've looked at, and I've looked at many, there's always the person wants to go. There's always I'm tired, I want to go, or I don't want to be here anymore. And there's kind of a preparing, even if it's an accident and it looks like a freak accident or a very quick death on 3D land. There's actually a preparation a year before. So the death, you're preparing to leave the physical reality, and that takes time for the consciousness. So the agreement has to be on a soul, higher self agreement as well as heart agreement. That's why. So the three levels of consciousness: soul, higher self, and the heart light body. And but with this case that I looked at, the heart light body was not aware, and that what was quite amazing. So it was the soul and the higher self was you've got to come out, because that they weren't listening to themselves. They took the medication, and their life, their objective in that life was to wake up to themselves and wake up to their own heart. Now we see, obviously, everybody that watches my videos are awake to some extent. We're all in the process of waking up more to ourselves, and really awakening is waking up to ourselves. And when we wake up to ourselves, when we connect to ourselves, our own heart consciousness, and discover who we are and discover many things about ourselves, we're able to see reality far clearer. And the deceit and the lies and the manipulation that has taken place over reality. And the reason why we go asleep is because of trauma. Trauma sends us to sleep. It's it's far easier to just block that out and not look. So when we're looking at people, I'm why don't you just wake up? It's not just waking up to the vaccines. They've got to wake up to themselves. They've got to wake up to their own feelings, emotions, which can be very difficult because it's like, oh, it's just a fact, and it's so blatantly obvious what's going on, but why can't people see it? And it's due to the trauma that they have in their consciousness. So in their heart consciousness and the emotional life that they've lived can be so painful that that it's easier just to stay asleep and not. Because if you start questioning, you may start to question your whole life. You know, I know when I woke up, and I'm sure many can relate, when I had my awakening when I was 27, and that means an awakening is that your right side of the brain starts to connect to the left side of the brain. The right side being the masculine side, the analytical life, the physical life that creates the physical life. And the left side is the heart consciousness. And that is connected to who we are, all our emotional life in this physical reality, to our higher self, to our souls, the reasons why we're here, the intention for this life. And so when I was 27, I woke up to my heart. I got out of the rat race because I was just working. And I went backpacking, and I did a lot of sunbathing and relaxing. And I started to reflect and question things about myself, who I was. You know, why did I act the way I acted, or why did I think the way I think, and why do certain things piss me off? And I just started reflecting, and then one day, bang, something hit, and basically I became more connected to my heart because I was asking questions about myself, and my whole life fell apart. It was a crazy time, but generally my whole life just fell apart. You know, I was going in a direction of becoming a teacher. And my idea was to live in the Far East, teach, and raise some babies, and just don't give a fuck about life, kind of thing, just to relax and enjoy. But when I woke up, I had this huge oh my God, I've got to understand who I am, and I went on a completely different direction. My relationship broke down, and I came back from the Far East, and I started doing quantum healing hypnosis. Started to understand that a lot of the answers that we need in order to navigate through physical reality are actually deep within us. It's just we've lost that connection. What comes with that when we start to connect to ourselves is trauma comes up, and we have to deal with the trauma. And this is why this sleep, stay asleep, because it's painful. It's painful to look at ourselves. It takes real courage to look at ourselves, and we can cut ourselves off. And so what I saw a few weeks ago with this person is that they were taken out of physical reality by their soul and the higher self, but it was agreed by Gaia. That Gaia was like, this reality, this physical reality is not going down a transhumanism, where the people that are staying are the people that want to evolve. And how we evolve is listening to ourselves and our emotions and who we are, and really start to take responsibility for our reality. Because what the watchers and the darker side and the controllers and manipulators have done is get us to forget our hearts, don't listen to your heart consciousness, don't listen to your emotions. This is what you need to do. It's coming through religions, through education, through culturally, this is how you do things and everything like that. So we're kind of battling a way of life that benefits them but doesn't benefit us. So this is why when we start to listen to our hearts, our life can fall apart, because we're living the wrong life. I was not listening to my heart. It's not really what I came here to do. When I started to listen to my heart, I went on a completely different path, and I wouldn't be here today talking to you. I wouldn't have understood the things I've understood. I wouldn't be sharing the information that I'm sharing. I wouldn't have, if I stayed asleep, I would have lived a half of life. I wouldn't have understood who I was and why I was here. I wouldn't have met all the amazing people that I've met. along the way on this journey, and I wouldn't have understood consciousness or reality like I do. And I'm sure that will, and that is really sad, and I'll probably be getting the vaccine and popping, maybe leaving reality quite quickly. So it's really important that we understand our emotions, and what a lot of people do, they run away from their emotions. And I spent nearly 30 years running away from my emotions. Reason being, we grow up in this reality, and it can be quite scary when we're children. If we grow up in a unsafe environment, or an unsafe environment, a very strict environment, where we can't express who we are safely, then we will continue to do that, where we don't express our emotions, and therefore the left and the right brain don't connect to one another. We have many, many emotions within us, but if we don't actually express it through the body, and that's like talking about how we're feeling, then the right side of our brain won't know. We will still feel those emotions, but the right side of the brain won't have a clue, because it can't connect. It only connects when you actually express it through the body. And when we express our emotions through the body, it also heals the right side of the brain, because those emotions is female energy, it's heart energy. It's actually what keeps the physical body healthy and happy. If we don't express our emotions, the right side of the brain gets agitated, angry, upset, deprived. It's not getting what it needs, the natural resources, the healing, the joy, the love, everything. So shying away from your emotions is actually depriving you of your healing abilities to heal yourself and your own body. When you start to release your emotions and talk about your emotions and express your emotions, and this is a way of actually bringing your immune system up and healing your body. It's a way of understanding who you are. Emotions can be scary, especially if we don't understand them. And when I look at people, with all the healing that I've done, I mean, a lot of the healing I've had is I've done it. I've healed so many things of myself, and it's because of emotions that have come up, and I haven't understood where they've come from. Because our heart, our female energy, is a timeless energy, and we could get triggered and an emotion come up, or emotion just needs to come out. And so, for instance, like I've had many times where I've just felt enormous amount of fear and not known why. There's no reason in my physical reality why I'm feeling that fear. But as I dive into relax and find out where I originally felt that fear in my life, it will take me back to a place in my timeline where I can understand and release that fear. So it's our emotions not only can bring us back the memories that we have lost within ourselves if we take them seriously and follow up on them, so they get to understand who we are, the experiences that we've had, but they also heal the physical body. And within the emotions, within the female energy that we all have, is our joys, our loves. People suppress themselves so much, they don't know who they are. They don't even know what they like, what they enjoy out of life. They don't, their gifts, all our gifts. We come into physical reality, but we've lived many, many, many lives, huge amount of lives, and we've picked up many abilities in those lives. So there's beautiful gifts waiting for everybody if they listen to themselves and understand that those gifts are all within those emotions, and not to hide away from them. I do healing groups every week. I do healing groups, and people come along on the healing groups, and then I do training. So train people, try to guide them to the heart so they can do this themselves. And it's been really lovely, and people were going off and travelling and understanding that they can do exactly, I'm no different from anybody else. And what's really lovely is that people were able to listen to other people's stories and experiences and realise they're no different from anybody else. Because we've isolated the heart so much for generations, a lot of people suffer with isolation, loneliness, depression, feeling like they're the only ones that are struggling or feels like that. And what the groups do is actually hearing other people's stories and struggles and the journey of healing and understanding yourself is everyone. And it's amazing how I'll do I do a Patreon every week, and there's a healing group every week. It's all day I'm looking at people. It's amazing. And people, it's all at the same time. It's all the stuff that's coming up collectively. So last week it was all this anger. Everyone was dealing with anger, and anger can be a scary emotion if you don't understand it and shy away from it, and I can't release that, but behind that anger is usually a defense. But it's we have to understand our emotions, don't hide away from it. There's always a story behind the emotion. So connecting to your emotions and how you feel about things is also your real guide. They try to replace our guide with religion and a way of living that's not good for us. But your true guide is your emotions. That will guide you to where you want to be, because it's connected to your higher self, your soul. Your higher self holds the intention for your life. It knows, and so being connected to your heart and your emotions is paramount of evolving. It's your evolutionary path. We've all come here to evolve. That's one of the objectives to live a 3D life, is to evolve and understand ourselves more, and to evolve. Where we pick our mums, and then we've got our own consciousness, and then a lot of people come to heal, but it's to evolve out of the negative crap that's in our consciousness and the river that we've joined in on. So listening to your hearts. If I didn't listen to my heart, I wouldn't have woken up. If I didn't listen to my emotions, I would have never gone on the Dolores Cannon course, QHHT. I wouldn't have started a blog. If I didn't listen to my heart, I wouldn't have started YouTube or Patreon. I wouldn't have done anything. I'll probably still be at the NHS. Yeah. So it's really important to listen to your heart, and that will guide you and direct you in the place that you need to be. Okay. So if that lady wants to contact me, and if you contact me, and I'll try and do that video as soon as possible. If you can sign up to my newsletter, it's completely free, and there's actually a free video on there, to teach yourself how to journey. There's a free video on there. If you want to develop that more, there is actually meditations that you can, guided meditations, teach you how to journey, just like me. And that's what I teach on courses as well. And what that does is connect the left and the right brain together also. So because when we journey with our hearts. It's the metaphysical world. It's there, and when we come back with that information and transfer it over to the right brain, we understand things on a different perspective than we did before. So it's a very valuable tool. I use that for myself all the time. If I go travelling, I go to my go deep within myself to understand things from a different perspective. It's all just which can be very handy when just creating my own life, what I want and what I want to create. So that's on there. You can buy those meditations if you wish. You can book a one-to-one appointment with me. I don't do many now because I'm concentrating on training, but there was also Christy, who's an amazing guide also, and Toto, who's fantastic, and they're both available. You can just go onto my website and book an appointment with them. I will be putting out more courses in March to start in May, and so if you sign up to my newsletter, you'll be the first to receive those dates. And you also can do Patreon if you wish. So Patreon is the Q&A. So I do Q&As every couple of weeks. We did one nearly a couple of weeks ago, and there's some great information about the collapse of everything that's going to happen, and there's information about the financial collapse, and great information that is received that kind of keeps us calm in these crazy days that are going on, and some great information about this universe and how this universe is a tiny dot compared to all the other universe. There's many, like millions, like we're literally are like a needle in a haystack, our universe. And so you can join that, and you can watch all the previous Q&As if you wish, and join and ask a question, and I can remote view and see where we see what turns up on the remote view. So okay, well, thanks for watching the video, and I'll have a lovely weekend. And if I'm doing a Q&A on Wednesday, so if you do join Patreon, you can join us this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. UK time. Okay, you take care. Bye.